I tell my boys, I'm like, yo, I'm the coolest I'm the dad everybody wants.
Yeah.
And my sons don't watch Marvel movies. They don't ask. They have no idea. Right. Like, I'll FaceTime Sebastian. I'm like, yo, man. I'm like, yo, say what's up to my son. And he's like, hey. Dude!
Hey everyone, I'm Yvonne Orji, and welcome to the Emmy-nominated Off Script with the Hollywood Reporter. We are here back again at the beautiful Georgian Hotel in Santa Monica, California. A place where for many years, countless friends have gathered to share a drink. Oh, thank you, baby. Maybe even share a room, but definitely share a laugh. Well, today is no different. We brought together 6 actors from TV's biggest comedies to toast each other and open up about their Hollywood journey. You'll hear from John Goodman of The Righteous Gemstones and The Conners, Kelsey Grammer of Frasier, Theo James of The Gentlemen, Anthony Mackie of Twisted Metal, Ricky Martin of Royale, and Bowen Yang of Saturday Night Live. As always, they are on the record, but maybe just a bit off script with the Hollywood Reporter. Hey, Mikey, they're all yours.
Thanks, Yvonne. Hi, I'm Mikey O'Connell. Welcome to the Comedy Actor Roundtable. Let's get started. We're gonna jump right in. What's the funniest or strangest feedback you've ever read or heard about yourself?
Oh, no.
Somebody criticized my toupee one time. I forget what film it was, but
you weren't wearing one.
Yeah.
That's on the hair department.
I don't own one.
I got told I looked like Justin Bieber, and since then, everything I wear, I try to look, 50 and above. Terrified that I will resemble the Biebs. Yeah, thankfully
You're like,
I do.
Well, he's a nice-looking kid.
Yeah, I know, but it was when
Handsome
he was
fella.
about 12.
You're like Bieber on HGTV.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think they, now that you say that, they were talking about me in an article and they put a picture of Enrique Iglesias.
Oh,
That happens.
good.
Yeah, it happens.
it happens
It's
all the
okay.
Well, I shaved my head once for a movie, and I was told that my head was too perfectly round, that I looked like the brown ball on the pool table. And I was like, well, first of all, that's a compliment, sir. I don't have any divots in my head.
Yeah, perfection.
But then I never shaved my head again because I was like, it's too perfectly round.
I've received many reviews, many of them very bad. So it would probably be one of those. I did a production of Othello years ago, and Christopher Plummer did Iago, James Earl Jones did Othello, and I played Cassio. And I think the review basically said, and Kelsey Grammer was just fine as Cassio. And that to me just sucked.
You would have been a great Desdemona. You would have been a great Desdemona.
I would have been a great Desdemona.
I had a woman tell me how much she admired my work on Cheers the other day.
Yeah. Probably like some comment that was like, that guy's got an underbite. And I'm like, yeah, I do. A little bit. My jaw's a little bit out.
Very specific insight.
Very specific feedback. It's strange feedback.
Yeah.
Not qualified.
I bet it was a dentist.
But now with social media, it's crazy because you just never know what you're going to get. And people wear behind a fake picture and they can just say whatever they want.
Yeah. Would you set up a fake account just to troll people who troll you?
I just block.
It's too much
I think
time.
you got too deep into the...
I've been wanting to do it so
beast.
bad. When I read that, who was it? Kevin Durant started a fake account just to troll people that were trolling him. I'm like, I salute you, my man. Like, that's just 5 minutes a day, like right after your shower. You know?
Okay.
Too much work. That's 5 minutes
You
too
can have
much.
50 good comments, and then that's
That
one
one.
comment that
That's the
can
one.
Cuts
ruin.
deep.
So it's really good to just block. It feels good.
John, I read that you consider yourself a people pleaser to this day, which I feel like could get you in trouble in Hollywood. Has it ever?
To my detriment.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the many things I'm working on.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to smack somebody in the face for no reason, but it became too much, where I became devoid of any personality and just trying to help. And then there's a lot of things to it, a lot of layers that cost a lot of money to fix.
Hollywood likes to put people in lanes, and I'm wondering what are the parts that all of you are still occasionally offered that you're like, please no, not this again?
I'll tell you this. I was the most famous actor on The Wire who wasn't on The Wire. And when The Wire was on TV, I was every criminal, every drug dealer, every rapper, every bad boy. And I was like, I went to Juilliard. Like, stop it. I'm not on The Wire. I couldn't. I auditioned. I didn't get on The Wire. Every black dude was on The Wire except me. So that was my thing. After that, I put my foot down. And I was like, no, like gangster hood dudes. I didn't want to do that. Just because I did such a great job on The Wire, I've proven I can do that. So I don't need to do it again.
So good at that.
Wait, what part on The Wire did you audition for?
I auditioned for Marlowe. And all of those dudes, because I lived in New York at the time, all of those dudes were my friends. So one of my dear friends, still to this day, Jamie Hector, got the role. So it got to the point where it was a joke between him and I. I would go around and people would ask me for pictures, and I would take pictures as him. So it was just like you with Enrique. Like people would, I'd be like, oh my God, I have this amazing picture with Jamie Hector, and I'm like, get the fuck away from me. They're like, Jamie Hector's an asshole.
I'm kind of still amazed that like the assistant trope is still so present in Hollywood for like someone like me with like an effeminate voice. It's like I think they're still out there, and it's okay. It's like it's fine. It's just it does, if you think too hard about it, you go, oh, is it just like an ornamental thing? Like, are we just like ornamental people like in society? And so, but I can't think too hard about it. Otherwise, I spiral.
I've heard you recently say that you sort of swindled your way into Hollywood. You're
Did I?
swindling your way into roles.
I read that.
Anthony read that.
How did you swindle?
No,
How did I swindle my
you're
way
really
in?
scamming your way through
love the word
Hollywood.
swindle.
How did I
What is the
swindle?
biggest scam that you've run?
Oh my God.
Show us the way.
I don't know. I feel like that was probably just my self-deprecating way of being like, oh, I don't really know how I figure into this. Like that's what I feel like I have my safe haven at SNL where I get to just sort of write whatever I want for myself. And there's a little bit of anxiety around like leaving the nest and kind of being at the whim of other people and kind of giving that up. There is sort of a power loss.
How did you what was your SNL entry? Was it just kind of auditioning and doing the...
It was auditioning, and then Lauren brought me on as a writer for one season, and then he moved me to the cast after one season, and he said, this was always my plan, like if I were to throw you out there without a paddle, then it would have set you up for failure, and it would have been a sad story. And he was like, I just wanted to make sure you knew how the sausage was made, so therefore you could succeed as much as you possibly could. Yeah. So it was very...
I think you're awesome, man.
Oh, thanks, Ricky.
Yeah.
You too. Yeah. Everyone here is awesome.
Ricky Martin.
Shut up.
That's pretty cool.
Thanks, Enrique.
No, but Ricky, your last two roles were so different, but they had one through line, and that was shirtless in Florida or LA, subbing for Florida. Is that by design, or that's what you're going for? Is that what Hollywood expects of you?
You have a tattoo of that, don't you? Shirtless.
Actually,
Shirtless.
it's part of very important part of the deal. No, I mean it's that's the way it was written. And the first one was the assassination of Gianni Versace, and it was Miami in the '80s. So I guess you were your Speedos and you were no shirt.
Yeah.
And then now is Palm Beach in the late '60s, and you're a pool boy. You're a caretaker, and Carol Burnett, the character, wants you half naked in the I guess. I don't know. You just go with it and you own it, and
But it's endemic to the story, is what
it is part of the story, so you don't think about it twice. These are very deep characters, and the story behind them are very intense, and that's the kind of thing I like to do.
It's based on a book, was it?
It's based on a book.
And is that fiction or based on a real...
It's fiction. Everybody wants to be part of this social club. It's the wealth of Palm Beach and the glamour and the fashion, but also the darkness behind it, and their secrets and their pain, and this character knows everyone's secret, and And it's a very powerful character, so I'm very happy to be half naked half of the show. I don't care. I don't mind.
I missed all that. I was just in West Palm. There was no half-naked Ricky Martin.
It's always in one specific house.
I went to the Breakers. I was like, what is that?
I was just there too, yeah. I didn't see that either. You know.
That's stupid me. I
Saw a lot of things, but yeah, not that.
1960s.
Theo, you went straight into The Gentleman from White Lotus, which is the show that every actor seems to want to be on these days. Did that experience open any doors that you previously felt were closed to you?
Yeah, definitely. 100%. I think because it's comedic, but then there's, it tackles fairly complex issues, first season, second season, and then his other seasons as well, of course. But, with that season, it's about sexual politics, gender, love, animal versus the kind of, ephemeral. It's complex, and it definitely opened doors for sure. And I loved playing that character. He represented Americana to me in its best, and the problems with it. He's kind of front foot on the ground. He's his energy is outward. He's charming, but then beyond that, he's quite calculating. So with The Gentleman, I kind of wanted to do the opposite, which is, very British and a twat.
That's the right pronunciation. Exactly.
Looking back on all your careers, when was the time that you felt like you took your biggest risk?
Hosting Saturday Night Live.
Oh.
That was a risk?
The first time. I was scared to death. I didn't think I could do it. I thought I'd die once I opened the door for the monologue, but it happened, and it turned out to be the most fun I've ever had.
And you were such a mainstay. Like people were clearly so happy that you were coming back.
They made me feel at home. It was wonderful.
Oh, that's really nice.
But I was. That's probably the most fear I've ever had.
Fuck it.
No, we'll look for it. I'm gonna go look for it.
What were you afraid of? Were you afraid of the
I was
live
just
aspect?
stinking on ice, and not being funny, being fat on camera. Wait a minute. Just the worst. Because I admired the show so much, and I was definitely afraid of getting kicked out of the studio before the hour and a half was up, but it worked out.
And how was the lead up, the week of show?
Oh, it was so busy.
Did you feel nervous at that point, or?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. But I was working with such wonderful people, and then the stage manager, everybody took care of me. It was very scary, but so rewarding. It's just so much fun.
I would let everybody know I'm a mess right now. I'm super nervous. Help me here.
I think they appreciate that. I think that's what they want to hear, is that if the host is feeling uneasy about anything, let's help them out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think so.
That's good in a way.
There's a lot of care there, I think.
Then you did it subsequently in the future.
Like 13 times.
What?
All right.
You've done it 13 times. Oh, wow.
In the old days.
So once you've done it once, did it feel lazy?
Yeah, second I was still scared, but it felt like coming home again because we still had some of the same cast members.
Kelsey, did you have a good experience hosting?
I did it a couple of times. I liked it.
Yeah.
I had a great time. I'm trying to think. Phil Hartman was still alive then, and Rob Schneider was on the show, and Adam Sandler, and Farley too. I think.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. I had a great time with them. I was so impressed with them, and of course I couldn't get through it. I kept cracking up. There was Schneider's skit was something smells good in whatever in Assville or whatever it was. And I said, honey, what does that smell? And I said, just give me the cat's ass, will you? So I'd grab a cat. Oh, that's better. I couldn't get through it. I just started laughing the whole time. I really enjoyed it. And Shaquille was on one time with me, and so at the end of the final tableau thing, good night everybody, blah 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 blah. He picked me up.
Oh, wow.
And I thought, holy shit. I said, I weighed 230 pounds at the time. And I said, shit, isn't that kind of hard? He said, no, you're as light as a feather. And you're right about that nervous thing. You did it so much, though. I've never been a stand-up guy. Because I was too scared of it.
Yeah.
I just thought I would hate to fail in that.
Yeah. My monologues always stunk. I even sang one, but I got through it, and then I read later that Tom Hanks said the most important thing you'll do is the monologue. Oh, now! I just wasn't good at it, so I figured, well, let's just get through that.
And we did one with Kirstie. Kirstie Alley hosted the show, and we all sang the cheer song with her. That was great.
Yeah.
Great gal.
Anthony, what's your biggest risk, man? I feel like you've had such a diverse career. You started out working with Spike Lee and Catherine Bigelow, all these huge directors. You're a Marvel guy, and now you're playing this like action comedy, post-apocalyptic thing based on a video game. Like, where do you feel comfortable and where do you feel uncomfortable?
I will say my biggest risk was probably the saddest moment of my career. I did this show where it was 40 pages of dialogue and it was just me. It was me against me talking to me. And, you get in the rut of people being like, oh, play this guy 20 times or do this 20 times. And I was like, I want to see if I still got it. Like, if I'm a fail, I want to fail going down guns a-blazing. And I read the script. I was like, I want to do it. I went to go do it and honestly did some of the best work I feel I've done as an actor in my 40 years of acting. And nobody saw it.
Was it a movie?
No, it was a show on Amazon. Yeah.
A show.
And it really just humble sauced the shit out of me. And ironically enough, it was this dude, something he said that a friend of mine sent to me, that it really just, it turned everything around for me, for my career, the way I perceived my career, and the work that I wanted to do.
Did you go to NOCA?
I did.
Man,
I did.
It's a great place.
It was an amazing school when I was there. We had to create and evolve out of nothing, and we did some of the craziest work and clown work and just everything.
For performing artists in New Orleans, and a lot of people went through that.
Yeah, Harry Connick Jr., all the Marcelluses.
Marcellus.
I met Wendell Pierce, who has kind of been like my older brother since I was 13. Wendell Pierce pulled up to NOCA in a Porsche. And he had on a white linen suit with a white hat. And he was coming to talk to the students. I'm 14 years old and I'm like, who is this black dude in this Porsche with this linen suit? Right? So I run up to him after he talks. I'm like, man, I want to be just like you. I'm gonna do everything you did. I'm gonna do everything you did. He's like, all right, kid, good luck. And he puts on his hat and he gets in his Porsche and he's like, skirt! Blew my mind.
Wow.
Oh man. To this day, every time I see him, I'm like, fucking Wendell Pierce.
He's so helpful to that city too.
He's huge. I mean, we grew up in the same neighborhood. So, everything he did, he went to NOCA, I went to NOCA. He went to Juilliard, I went to Juilliard. He started on the stage, I started on the stage. Everything he did, I literally was in such awe of him that I just chased him around like he had carrots in his ass.
I actually played against myself, and similarly to you, I put everything in it. I feel like I did some of my best work, and I always remember, and I didn't watch the show before the, before you go to the premiere and whatever, blah, blah, blah. Because, at the time, everyone was like, yeah, fuck yeah, this is fucking awesome. Yeah, everyone was like, okay, I'm feeling pretty good about this. I remember going down to the bar. I was like ready to go to the premiere of it or whatever. And I looked at my phone, just on nothing, like New York Times, something else. And I was like, oh, God, I'll have another drink. And I was just like, oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God. And then I had to fucking turn up to the thing, which I knew had been kind of destroyed,
Right.
like, ha, ha, ha.
Do you guys feel that like it's a little bit better to play opposite yourself because there are fewer variables there? Like you are kind of on both ends knowing where you're coming from?
I would say it's the hardest.
It's so hard.
Because for me, I look at acting like a game of tennis. like when you hit the ball across the net, you need somebody to hit it back. Like you can't volley by yourself, and you're just hitting the wall if you are.
So you're looking at yourself, going like, I'm not getting anything.
I'm not right. You're shit, man. Oh my God, this dude sucks. You know, so it's weird when you don't have that other person to act against.
Or to surprise you.
Or to surprise, or to do something that really.
And you can lock yourself into performances that you find you don't like on the other side, can't you? Because you do something, and then on the return side, you're like, but I don't have enough time, or I wanted to do something else. Yeah, it's tricky.
You and John are both playing characters that you originated in the 80s. What could you get away with then that you can't now? And is there anything vice versa?
You know what, honestly, I don't think there's anything you couldn't get away with then that you can't get away with now, honestly. I mean, I always tried to keep the level of the comedy up above a certain, quality. So it was never my thing to go scatological or to go, diminish anybody. To try to make the level of comedy sort of aim up or play up to the audience. So I've never really been cursed by, that was inappropriate, or that was like, what a terrible thing to do. I mean, the only thing I ever felt foolish about was trying to do a James Mason impression on Saturday Night Live. But it sort of went rather well, but it was still, it was still rather embarrassing. Well, I was at the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. And Phil Hartman was just going crazy, he just made me giggle.
Was he Kirk Douglas?
Yeah, he was Kirk Douglas. Right. Ned Land. Just what a funny man. But now I've never really encountered it, but I've never done jokes below the waist. I mean, we always had a standing rule about the Frasier show was always we'd never make a joke about genitalia. It just wouldn't happen. We might suggest such a thing, but we would never really, there was one scene where Frasier undid his belt because his dad told him to if he was feeling like he ate too much. That's about it.
Below the waist.
John, do you feel the same? I feel like the original iteration of Roseanne pushed a lot of new ground.
Yeah, and perhaps it did. Different times then. I think Roseanne kissed Marielle Hemingway one time or vice versa, and that was pretty much unheard of at the time. None of us wanted to work stupid. We I think Roseanne first said it's just because we're poor doesn't mean it's stupid. And we tried to hew to that, and sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't.
Ricky, you've been working in entertainment since you were 12. In like every corner of the industry, is there still something that's on your list of things to do that you're really dying to try?
Yes, I would love to do film. I think that's what I'm getting ready for, and I knock on wood. But it's my dream. It's my dream. I need to go back to theater, of course. I need to go back to Broadway, something I really want to do.
What did you start as when you're 12? What was?
It was a boy band, but for me it was theater because they told us what to wear, what to say, what to sing, how to move.
Yeah.
So it was stagecraft. 5 years of being part of the boy band, traveling around the world. It was beautiful.
A great way to learn.
I learned a lot. Yes, of course, until I was 17, and then I went as a soloist. I started doing theater in Mexico. I did TV series in Mexico. In Argentina as well. It was Latin America. It was acting. But then something happened with music that I had to surf the wave.
Because it was very powerful. Happened with music.
Right? I mean, something happened, right?
The hell out of music.
It was very, very, very powerful, very beautiful. And it was all a preparation to where I'm at today. What can I say? This is, I would do it all over again. It's been a very beautiful life of entertaining.
Wow. I would do it with you.
Let's do it.
Shirts on.
Shirts on. Oh, why not? Maybe not.
What's on everyone else's bucket list? Theo, I heard recently that you want to play Henry VIII, which seems very against type.
That's aggressive.
No, that's
all right.
I thought you were going to say a gamut of inappropriate things I've said to that question. Yeah, I would. I like I've always been fascinated by him, the idea of someone who, because he became maniacal. He became, obese and covered in boils and a terrible dictator. But he didn't start that way. So the idea of seeing someone evolve to that and what power does, and Britain at that time is an interesting, it's a very interesting period of history because.
He's fascinating.
Yeah, they were kind of small fry.
Extraordinary.
Yeah, and Henry VIII kind of put them back on the kind of the European scene.
His contribution to music. I mean,
Yes,
green
exactly.
sleeves, and also the single syllable per note.
Yeah.
They went away from the glissando stuff. He said, no, everything's going to be one syllable, one note.
One note.
And that changed the whole. Everything about religious music, everything about it. Handel's Messiah, based on that. He's an extraordinary contribution, and he could fight like a son of a bitch when he was young.
He was very athletic.
And of course, he would always say to his wives, don't lose your head.
I did have a question about music related. The theme, the Frasier theme, how did that come about?
That was just a whim for me because I thought, I've always wanted to sing a theme song.
Yeah.
So I said, I'm singing it. And they said, okay, we weren't even going to have one. I said, well, we're having one.
and then you gave them that, or you invited them a bunch?
It just came up with the songwriter for the show, the guy that kind of did the incidental music and stuff as well, Bruce. He put together an idea, and then I sort of looked at it and I thought, well, I guess I could sort of jazz it up.
Yeah.
But what's kind of interesting is Joni Mitchell wrote a song called, My Analyst Told Me That I Was Right Out of My Head, the way I described it. Better off dead than alive. And we kind of thought about that song when we were first shooting the pilot. So then it came up, but an interesting runaround is they're going to shoot a movie about, Cameron Crowe's shooting a movie about Joni Mitchell's stroke and what she went through. And he's going to take a clip from Frasier and put it in the movie because apparently she helped recover her ability to use language by watching Frasier.
Oh my God!
I'm absolutely blown away by it. I'm very moved by it. And of course, she was, Miles of Isles and Free Man in Paris and all that stuff. Her music just blew me away when I was younger.
Yeah.
Oh, and I was just thinking, the most challenging two things I've ever heard, actually, really, were not so much that review. One was after I just played Beast, My Days in Marvel, and they came up and said, "We have the most wonderful next film planned," and this was Lauren Donner, and she said, "We're going to go back in time," and so I suddenly had that sinking feeling of, oh, so I won't be in it. So my performance as Beast will not be it. That's what you're telling me. So sure enough, it went back in time. I was gone. So I thought, well, that was really exciting news for me. My most favorite statement I ever heard was when I was in my 40s. Somebody said, "You are the worst boyfriend I've ever had." So that's
That's a great review.
that was
Tell me about a time where you most wanted to walk off a job.
I walked out of stage once. I left the tour. I was exhausted. I was sad. I was depressed. I was not happy with what I was doing. I had been working for 2 years nonstop, 200 shows in 2 years.
Jesus Christ.
And I was in Australia, and we still had two more weeks to go. We had to go to Argentina to do the final, and then everybody was going home. And I was like, I'm not going to survive. If we go to Argentina, I'm going to collapse, and I'm going to collapse bad. I need to go home now. Please listen to me. I need to go home. I was begging my managers, everybody, you're crazy. We're almost there. Come on, let's do this. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. If we don't go back home now, this is going to get ugly. And I went back home. And it was the best decision I ever made.
Yeah.
It was the best decision.
Did it cost you? How much did it cost you?
It was a lot of money.
Yeah.
It was a lot of money, but it was my health.
Yeah.
And it was my state of mind, my mental health, physical health, and I just wanted to be home. I wanted to be with my dogs. And this is not only 2 years, this is a decade of not being able to say no. Yes, let's do it. Yes, let's do it. Yes. People pleasing. And that last show, I was angry. I was not enjoying the music. I was not happy with the applause. The arena was full, packed up. Every stadium was full. And I was just sad. And I couldn't take it anymore. So I went back home. And we're still here. This is 20-something years ago.
Oh, wow.
I just needed a break.
Yeah.
And if you're numb to all that stimulus, like in the arena, like if that's doing nothing for you, then like,
Imagine.
huge
Imagine.
red flag.
Oh
yeah.
my God, yeah.
I mean, I feel like a lot of people reach a point in their career like that where they're like, I'm just doing it for myself now. Has anyone else had that sort of like moment where they're like, oh, I'm not going to take this part that my agent really wants me to do, or I'm gonna take some time off even though I'm really like hot right now?
I had to have kids help that for me personally because I was very into. I think you're a product. You're kind of selling a product, which is yourself in some ways, especially when you're starting out. And but I guess having kids, suddenly you realize that some of it doesn't matter. Do you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter in the broad scheme of things. And that gave me a bit of perspective. Because when I was a young actor, I was just like, rabbit hungry, I have to jump from job to job and fucking all that stuff. But it gave me a bit of perspective where I'm like, I don't want to take your kids out of school or do that just because it seemed sexy or whatever at the time. That gave me a bit of perspective. And obviously taking all the Class A drugs helped as well. So I'm joking.
Anyone else?
No, I would agree with that. My kids changed a lot for me, dude. My dad, dropped out of school in 8th grade. My mom went to a Negro-appointed high school. So looking at that, I left home with $435. So I want to give my kids the opportunity of leaving home with the advantage that all my classmates had when I got to school. Like I had a classmate who, backpacked across Europe for a year after high school. I was like, how the hell? You just walked across a, what? That's a thing? That's a thing? What? That's a thing? Like coming from New Orleans, every day was an idea of how are you going to eat?
It's a struggle.
So having kids now and looking at my kids, I'm like, I never want them to experience the struggle. I want them to have the pain. I want them to know what it takes that the regular American man experiences trying to put a meal on the table. But I don't want them to have the pain. I mean, the struggle. So it's a dangerous negotiation.
Yeah, because you can't spare them. I mean, you kind of have to set them up, not for failure, but for the idea that they're going to have to fight for it.
You're going to have to fight for it.
Because it doesn't.
If you just give them
mean
everything.
anything if they don't fight for it.
I tell my boys, I'm like, yo, I'm the coolest I'm the dad everybody wants.
Yeah.
And my sons don't watch Marvel movies. They don't ask. They have no idea. Like, I'll FaceTime Sebastian. I'm like, yo, man. I'm like, yo, say what's up to my son. And he's like, hey. Dude! Like, it's really, to them, I'm dad.
Of course.
And that's what I've been working so hard towards. But what is that cutoff point when you decide to coach soccer as opposed to filling the coffers for their future?
Yeah. Do you think living in New Orleans helped as well? Just kind of a little bit of here or whatever.
Living in New Orleans. I mean, the cost of living in New Orleans is 35 cents.
But with your kids being kind of in a nice way, not super interested and
they're out of touch. They're out of touch completely with the world of the business, and all of their friends are like normal friends. All of their friends' parents are like working class people. So it's not an idea of, oh well, me and Jamie Foxx's son are hanging out on a yacht. No, it's it's not plumber to the stars. It's like, no, my boy is a plumber. And when our kids get together, it's like his kids and my kids, just regular little, kids. And that's something that I've experienced that I've always wanted to curate for them by living in New Orleans. It's the only city in the world you sit on your couch and you hear a tuba. It's like, yo, bro, it's the second line coming down the street. So I make an iced beverage and I pull him outside and we walk down the street with a second line. Then we walk home and we're like, man, that was amazing. And it's really cool. And then, it's those experiences that you have to, tap into.
What is the best feedback professionally that you've gotten from your children, or in your case, obviously,
Lack
the most
of
humbling?
feedback.
Yes.
Lack of feedback.
You saw my movie? Nah.
Come on, Dad, you can do better.
Oh no.
And what?
Last night was better, Dad. So last night performance and tonight
with your shows.
With my show. Last night in theater, no, in the Vita, there were like 5 or 6. Like, yeah, last night was better, Dad.
Oh, that's how it goes, son. Yeah, some days are better than
Oh,
others.
good, that's true. Thank you. I'll make a note of it.
My kids are most thrilled about cartoon performances.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have voiceover.
Right.
That I'm playing a toilet bowl on the Patrick Starr show next week. They're thrilled about that. My 9-year-old wants to come and see, watch the recording and see how it goes. That's great.
Owen, I'm going to throw
I don't
another
have kids.
quote
Yeah.
that you have back in your face.
Okay. Uh-oh.
You said in the same interview where the other made-up quote happened that this was the season that you sort of really let go on SNL.
Mm-hmm.
What does that look like in the writers' room and on stage?
I think I kind of threw out any preconceived notions that I had about myself because I think I was absorbing other people's expectations, right? Like I think I was playing a lot of campy, loud, broad characters for a while. It's a sketch show. Like there's room for that. It kind of celebrates that more than anything else. But like, look, I will reveal to this table. We wrote like and it was a purely loving tribute to Sylvester Stallone. But like, we were like talking about Stallone, and I was like, I think I've got a Stallone. I think I've got a Sly. I'm not going to do it here, but like that was like, I think internally to the people that work at the table read, like they saw that. I think people were like, I didn't know you could do that. Like I think people are kind of locked into an idea of what any of us as performers can do. It's like that type thing we were asking about earlier, and I think letting go this season has meant kind of building from scratch again, which has been really nice. I never thought I'd have that reset. It's not comfort. I think if you're comfortable at any place, or if you're comfortable at SNL, then like that's probably not a good sign.
Yeah.
But I think that's what I probably meant by that quote. Yeah. I remember saying that.
I read that.
Can everyone tell me about the weirdest fan interaction they've ever had?
Mine have always been good. I mean, honestly, I was never bad.
I was doing a front page on Broadway about 6 years ago, and during previews, a troupe of 4 or 5 people came in to the second row, and they went to the first row, and they started telling me how much they loved me. At one point, they had drinks on the stage and shit like that. That was pretty weird. Really loud, and I just wanted to jump down there. And I kept going and got off, and then they threw them out. But that was strange. That's the one that springs to mind anyway. I'm sure there are many more.
I had one where I was at a bar and these people were sitting opposite and we were just having a glass of wine, whatever. And the girl goes, "Excuse me?" And I was like, oh God, here you go. Your fly is undone. Also, love the show. But in like kind of in a cutting way. I was like, do you? I'm very confused about this whole interaction. He said, "Took my fly." Oh my God.
Something similar on Broadway as well. I was doing Les Mis and
Usually live theater.
I love and she was dying in my arms, and it was that final moment of final breath from the last row of the audience. "Ricky, I love you."
No.
And like she resurrected, and she went back to that.
So started laughing.
It was fun. It was fun.
Or like in the silent moments in
the
theatre
silent
where you
moment.
hear someone just be like, "Come on!" Don't believe the story.
or the candy wrap.
Cameras.
Camera.
Anthony, is it Marvel?
No, actually, I was in Vancouver shooting Altered Carbon. And this is a very long story, so I'm truncated drastically and miss a lot of points. See this young lady across the bar. So I tell the bartender, yo, tell her come over and say hello. She makes her way around the bar, and everybody in the restaurant's like, he's so nice. Because I went to this restaurant like every day because they had an oyster happy hour. She comes around the bar. She's like, can we take a picture? Like, look, I can't take a picture with you. Everybody in the restaurant's looking. She goes, oh no. She starts crying. And everybody in the restaurant's like, you're an asshole. And I was like, well, give me your phone. If you're discreet, I can hold the camera down and take a picture. She goes, oh my God. And everybody in the restaurant goes, yay, right? So I take the picture and I tell her, you have photo approval. If you don't like it, we can take another one. Everyone heart melts. She looks at it. She goes, and she pukes from here all the way down to my shoes. And this is after 24 oysters, a lobster roll. She runs out of the restaurant. The waiter comes and he's like, dude. He scoops me up. He takes a tablecloth, wraps me and takes me back to the oyster wash-off, hoses me down in the oyster wash-off.
Shock you.
They take my clothes. He goes across the street to like TJ Maxx and gets me like some sweatpants and like a graffiti's t-shirt. And I come back out and this woman like, I'm sorry, can I take a picture?
Same lady.
No, another lady
Wrong timing.
who saw me walking out thinking I'm leaving the restaurant. Raw oysters from here.
Oh, delicious.
Before we wrap things up, we're going to do a lightning round. What
a lightning
did
round?
everyone spend their first big paycheck on? Your first sort of like, I'm doing okay splurge.
I bought a house.
Big dog.
Yeah. First one.
More than a cashmere sweater,
Didn't have
but
to buy-
okay.
Didn't have to buy a house.
I built my dream car. I found a 1964 and a half Mustang in
That's a great
Tuxedo,
car.
New York. Brought it back down to Brooklyn to Christian Camargo's garage and worked on it for like 3 years and built it myself.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. That's really cool.
I also bought a home, and I gave the down payment of an apartment for 2 of my best friends.
Oh, that's nice. I will rock with you, Rick. Let's go.
Like, this is for your apartment.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. Should we hang out more? I bought similar. I bought an MGB GT for 12.
Oh, that's nice.
I mean, it didn't run, but over the years I've done it. Similar to
You still have it?
I still have it.
Oh, dude, come on. We're going cruising.
Awesome. Beautiful car.
The most gratifying thing was able to get my mom a house. That was great.
Yeah.
It's been cars and real estate this whole time. I was just gonna say, like, I bought Gucci shoes.
Equally great.
One man's your shoes.
What's the inevitable question that you always get asked that you just never want to hear again?
Cock size.
What?
I'm sorry.
That's interesting. Cock size. I thought he said cap size.
He was so ready. He was so ready. He was so ready. The slingshot was pulled
I'm
back.
glad it's out there.
He's like, somebody gonna ask this shit. I got it all. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready.
God.
It's usually honestly the most difficult one to answer. I mean, is how do I get an acting career? That's what I get asked most of the time. And I said, well, act. Go out and find a place to act. That's what you got to do. If you really believe in it, just go do it somewhere. Do it at your church. Do it at your local playhouse. Do it in your school. Whatever it's going to be. Get somewhere with a great play and read it out loud and look in the mirror. Do what you got to do to make sure that you're connected to the emotional life of a character. And if you're any good at it, you'll find out pretty quick.
He answered it, never ask it again.
Mine is take a picture. Can I take a picture? I've had many experiences, because you don't know what social reality you're tying yourself to. You don't know what that person going to use that picture for. You don't know how, because of the Kardashians, we're kind of put in this reality where we're looked at as tools, as vessels, as opposed to artists. And there's been several experiences now where people have taken a picture with me and used them for ways that I don't deem, the right way. So because of that, I choose not to be a part of your social reality.
It is interesting that the melding of actors and celebrities, where there used to be more difference.
Completely
and now
different.
People, they're conflated into the same thing. But
Right.
it's like I have no interest in that other part.
Right.
It's the job, it's what I do,
Yeah.
But the assumption that you're that as well is
Right. I have
frustrating.
people tell me all the time, well, this is what you signed up for. I'm like, that's crazy. That's like telling a girl that because she got put on a cute dress and went to a bar, she signed up for me to harass her all night. No. In this day and age, we literally learn that we have to respect everyone's no. So if I tell you no, respect it. And there's a reason for that.
For me, it's not to make it about work again, but it is always people asking, what is the week like at SNL? Because it's such a long answer. Because it's like you have to go down. I'll tell you Monday. What's that?
Make a form letter.
I know, it is like, it's like what Kelsey's saying. It's like, it is a long, it's like if you give people that advice about acting, it's like that's the advice they don't want to hear.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean? And like I'm about to give you such a boring, dry, like rundown of what the week is like, and it's when you feel like you've disappointed them in your answer that you feel like, oh well, now I feel like
Totally there.
Or midway your answer,
Right.
they're like,
I really didn't want an answer. Just wanted a picture.
right, shut up and take a picture.
Getting the phone ready for the picture.
There's a game, and it probably doesn't happen with you guys, but it's like, where do I know you from?
yeah.
You want to, and I'm like, I don't know, yeah, whatever. And it's a fucking, and then you're getting up, and they're like, no, wait. And it's a game, and blah, blah, blah. And then, they expect you to reel out your CV, and they're like, no, never heard of that. Sounds shit. No. But that game of kind of, it's like if someone's going to just say, oh, hey, notice, whatever, that's fine.
Yeah.
It's an interaction, but a kind of, a frisson that someone wants to happen in a kind of sexy way. What is this? I find that irritating.
That question, Ricky, are you gay? Are you kidding me? You don't know by now? What are you talking about? Are you sure? It's a wrap.
I read that.
I wish people would ask me. No.
And to end things on a very serious note, what is the most frequently used emoji on your phone?
You better not say eggplant.
No, I'm not an eggplant guy. I think for me,
There is such a thing.
There's a thing.
Oh,
There's
my
a thing.
Lord.
I'm more of a cucumbber guy.
I'm a cucumber guy. Let's get the slices.
Of a realistic shape.
Realistic shape. It's more phallic. The upside down smiley face. It conveys so much. It conveys a lot.
I mostly just use it with my wife. It's just a heart one.
Oh, come on. I'm single.
Fuck knows. The kind of face, like that face, because I'm often cringing myself and other people around me out.
High five. Feet and peach.
Oh.
The peach.
Peach and peach.
Yeah, that peach.
The peach.
Yeah.
The peach.
Yeah, nothing like a nice
Feet and
peach.
peach.
We know
quite a
where you're
Cucumber.
Cucumber, peach, cucumber, peach.
Very interesting.
So good. I've been trying. There's a face, like I call it the gas face, or like the like you bullshitting face. Like when you look at somebody and you go,
Yeah.
there's no emoji for that.
no emoji for that.
So they need that. So I usually do the side eye face where it's a smile, like that.
That's a good one.
But that's the closest you can get to this.
Right.
Oh, we gotta work on that.
I know.
We gotta call.
I don't know how that
Right,
little
come on.
emoji would look. It would have to be like the little yellow
I
dude
think
that
you
you
need to
can
do
make
it.
black,
Right.
and he would have to go.
You should copyright it. You should just do it.
Oh, okay. I know what I'm.
that's-
All right. I know what I'm doing right now.
There's a future in that face.
Dude.
Note to self.
Mine is none. I don't use them. I refuse to use them. I was told recently that using punctuation is aggressive. And to me, I think it's so lame that we have reduced our communication skills to emojis, stuff like that. I find it diminishes our ability to communicate. Yeah, and so I'm a punctuation guy.
Is
I
it
like
because your
question
last
marks.
name is Grammer?
Probably. it was when I was in sixth grade. It was.
Well, just get Mr. Grammer to answer.
Okay, that's an object of a preposition. Blow it out. I think it's important for us to communicate as well as we possibly can, in the best possible way. So I find it. I'm annoyed by emojis. I don't like getting them, and I never send them.
Fuck, you should have gone first. We all degraded us.
Well said.
I want to change my answer. You're cutting this up, right?
Thank you all so much for doing this. Let's raise
Thanks,
a
Yvonne.
glass.
Ah,
Thanks, Yvonne.
Thanks, Mikey.
wait for this.
I've drank all mine already.
I do like this. Gentlemen,
All right, we're back. We're back.
wonderful to see you, man.
Cheers.
Same here. Really a pleasure.
Cheers, Connors. Cheers.
Well, that was an exciting conversation. And I guess I did drink that drink. When that happened. Hey, Shaness, I have another. Until next time, I'm Yvonne Orji, and this has been Off Script with The Hollywood Reporter.